Hi everyone. Today's video is dedicated to Gravesend Granny, aka Nanny Asha. Okay? So, Gravesend Granny made her transition last month, and I need to do this video. And I need to do it quick because if I don't do it quick, I'm not gonna make it. Okay? Because I've been wanting to fight ever since she left. Now, it might seem strange to some, depending on your personality type, as to why somebody who I wasn't related to means so much to me. In my experience, I gravitate to who gravitates to me. I loved her because she was kind. She wasn't cruel to me. She thought about me. She took care of me. She looked out for me. She would scold me whenever she felt necessary, but there's a fine line between holding someone accountable and just being cruel for cruel's sake. I've experienced the latter way too many times, regardless of relationship. And so when I find people that are loving towards me and they're supportive, but they still are firm, I fall in love. And that is why Granny is so important to me. Gravesend Granny, right? Now, she was a woman of big spirit, okay? Very big spirit. So, this lady had a big personality. Despite her health challenges and things like that, she was always fiery and passionate, playful. Even when she's serious, you can make her break character. I really, really enjoyed toying with her. She was a good sport. Sometimes as people get older, they might lose their edge, they lose their sense of humor. She never lost her sense of humor, and she was hilarious. And so there are a few anecdotes that I'd like to share with you, layered in story form, coupled with lessons about what she taught me. Okay? All right, so the first thing is, let's start off with Jerome. She loved Jerome. She put him to work so much. And it was funny because she used to say to me, like, let him talk, because I'm the extrovert, he's the introvert, right? So I could just go, right? Me and Surita would be, and Jerome's just sitting there. Mm-hmm. So Granny now, she's like, let him talk. And I'm like, Granny, what do you mean let him talk? If we stop talking, he ain't gonna say nothing anyway. And then she'd be like, you let him talk. And then we stop talking. And then Jerome just sitting there looking at her. Mm. And then she go look at me. He lazy, isn't he? She put him through the mill, okay? And she's one of the few people that, like, I don't know. I don't know. She and Jerome had their own thing going on, okay? They had their own little thing going on the side. Granny was hilarious. She'd be like, he lazy, isn't he? You need to, you need to. So she would tell him. She also said he reminded her of Granddad, her husband, who passed before her, because he could fall asleep anywhere. That tickled her. Whenever we went over and Jerome just sit down in the corner, Granny be pointing and laughing. Now, one of the lessons that she taught me about my husband is to keep my foot on his neck. Yeah. She told me that there was something that she wanted. I think she said one time she wanted Granddad to buy more houses at some point. And you know, you know how some men are, they're like, this is all I can manage. And so like Granddad took that position of like, whatever he had is what he could manage. And she said to me, she said, one of the things that she really, really wish is that she pushed him, because if she pushed him, he would have, but she didn't push him to go that little extra mile. She said they could have had more, in the portfolio if you like, if she pushed him. But because he was reluctant and comfortable, she didn't. And she said that's one of the things that she wished she had done. Okay? So, how that translates in my life is that she made me recognize that don't acquiesce on everything just because he doesn't want to do it, because he might not even have a good enough reason to not want to do it. It just might be comfort. And so, translation, but not even translation, because I did ask her explicitly, so you're saying I should keep my foot on his neck? She said yes, with certain things, do it. She said because it's going to be worth it in the end. So that's why I don't let up on him. See what I'm saying? No, my house is strict, and it's never worked out for me when I relax my boundaries anyway. So Granny was right. The next thing she taught me, every time I brought something to her, you know how, I don't know, for me, I like people with manners. I grew up with manners. Manners make it man. If you don't have manners, that means you're inhuman in my eyes, right? So all them people that take great pleasure in not saying thank you, not asking please, and things like that, I don't deal with those types of people, because I grew up being taught manners make it man. Aunt Kate used to say that every single day. Manners make it man. So with Granny, she was always so thankful for the little things that you did for her. She would never act like, well, you're supposed to do it. She was always gracious, always thankful. So there's been times when maybe I had an excess of my flower club bouquet thingies, and I would just run it over to hers and stuff. And she would always say, you need to sell it. I'm like, okay, Granny. Then if I make something else, she'd say, you need to sell it. If I do another thing, she'd be like, you need to sell it. One day I was like, Granny, I can't sell everything. She was like, yeah, you can. She said, even if it's a couple pounds, you need to sell it. Granny was a go-getter. Okay. I said to her one day, I was like, Granny, you need to stop telling me I need to sell it. I need to sell it. I was like, I already got a couple businesses. She's like, so? She didn't care. She didn't care. If it's flower arranging, I need to sell it. If it's, what was it? When we went to her surprise birthday, I totally forgot to get her outfit for the birthday. So I literally ran to the shop an hour before the birthday, called my sissy Vanessa, had her and her mom tutor me on how to just cut a hole into a piece of cloth. I didn't hem it. I didn't do nothing around the nothing. I just cut a hole, stitch the side down. That was it. Kaftan. That was it. And Granny was like, oh, I like the material. You should sell it. I was like, Granny, I can't sell this. It's not even properly made. And as the night going on, I'm on the dance floor, me and Nick dance battling, and the edge for the top getting raw and raw. It's all fraying out. And Granny's like, oh, I like it. I'm like, Granny, no, it's falling apart. But it's one night. Who cares? And she's like, I like the material. You have a good eye. You need to sell it. I was like, Granny, I'm not selling it. And she's like, I used to be a seamstress, right? Even one of the other aunties came up to me and she was like, it's a nice top. Oh, you didn't stitch down the edge. I was like, Auntie, listen, I just bought this material an hour ago. Please leave me alone. I forgot, okay? My brain is hyperactive. I totally forgot about an outfit for Granny's birthday, okay? But Granny's motto for everything was, you need to sell it. She didn't care what it was. You need to sell it. I live for that. I do love that. I like older people who encourage the youngsters. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I really try to encourage my younger people to do what they need to do. They need to feel like the world is their oyster. I felt like with her influence, the world was my oyster. She always had something funny, witty, kind, smart to say all the time. even if she's telling you off, there's something in there that's gonna make you cackle. I appreciated it. Next thing, back to your friend Jerome. She used to be like, every time we go over there, she and Surita trying to feed us, right? I'd be like, you don't have to put on a spread every time we come. You know what I'm saying? Just let us come and just chill. It's 10 minutes from my house. Like, this food at home. You don't have to put on a spread. Then one day she gonna tell me, you need to feed Jerome. I said, you don't see that big tonk, healthy looking man? You think he ain't getting fed? And he's there laughing because he know all them old women get on me. Like, I don't feed him. They think I'm eating all the food because I'm chubby. The nerve. So she's like, you need to feed Jerome. That was a running joke. And after she passed, one day I said to him, I'm going to have dinner by myself because you just had lunch. That boy looked me dead in the eye and was like, I'm going to tell Granny on you. I said, not from beyond the grave. And he was like, it's never too late to complain. I'm going to tell Granny on you. I said, why are you telling Granny on me? He said, because you're trying to starve me. The boy ate an hour ago. He said that was just a snack. I still want dinner on time. I said, you're a wicked man. You're wicked. He trying to tell Granny on me so Granny could come and pull my toe in my sleep. I didn't appreciate that. But, you know, that was a nice little memory. Granny had the wickedest sense of humor. She was so plucky. You know one of the things she told me? She said, have your children 20 years apart. I was like, Granny, how? She's like, yeah, it's great. It's great. You won't have to do much for the second set because the first set go take them over. I was like, this is diabolical. But she said, have your children 20 years apart. Not that one, Granny. I can't rock with it. Another thing I loved about her, she was fair and she was balanced. Whenever I got her something, you know, our bonding was me doing certain things for her to help with her pain management. And she would always, oh, how much is it? Let me pay you. I'd be like, yeah. Surita paid me already. Last time was the knee plasters because her knees used to really, really bother her, right? So I put some through the door for her. And the lady took 3 months. 3 months to open the knee plasters. I was on the phone like, Granny, what are you doing? I see Surita call me like after 10 o'clock. I was like, why is she calling me so late? And then I see +1. I'm like, who else is on the phone? And I answer, and it's Granny on the phone with the plasters. I'm like, Granny, please, that's not the plaster I dropped you 2-3 months ago. Anyways, she was like, yeah, I need to pay you for it. I was like, no, Surita already paid me for it. Surita paid. Don't worry about it. And she's like, oh, now she confused. And she don't know if she need to pay back Surita for it. I was like, don't worry, we squared it away. You just need to get them on your feet, okay? Listen, she used to give Surita the business. Honestly, I think my greatest joy was their interaction. I have so many videos of the two of them going at it. Firing, fire stick flying. Arrows on fire flying. Meanwhile, they might just be talking about how to make some roti or paratha or, you know, make spring lamb curry. Okay, or masala chicken. They might just be talking about recipes, but the level of passion and aggression was always hilarious to me. Honestly, it made me feel like I was in a market somewhere, listening to the women cackle and gaggle like hens. I loved that. That is going to be one of the things that I really, really am going to miss. She would get so animated about nothing, you know? But boy, she loved that Surita. She loved that Surita, you know. She loved her. I loved watching them fight. It was great. Great. Sometimes Sarita would be in the shop. Me and Sarita in the shop. Like last summer, one of my pivotal memories, we went to Royal and we were in the shop, and the guy is like, what do you need for I can't remember what he called her. Did he call her granny, nanny? I can't remember, but she was so notorious for her requests and her long scroll of items. We called her and she was like, I don't want anything. And I remember when she said that, me, Sarita, and the veg guy looked at each other like something's wrong. Because she literally said she didn't want anything, you know? And sometimes there are signs. Even when last year, one day, there was a day I went into the house and I was like, Granny, how are you? I would wait until Sarita's going, you know? Just so she doesn't get confused. Wait until Sue goes and then we would pop over. And then I would say, Granny, how are you? And then around, it's about September, October, she goes, oh, you know, I'm just waiting to die. I was like, you better stop that. She had a great sense of humor. Morbid, but still valid. Gotta love it. But she was beginning to slow down, and Sarita and I would talk about it. But that sense of humor did not leave. She would just say the wildest things. And I'm like, why are you saying? What's wrong with you? Why would you say that? And she would just be like, it's true, you know. I love her so much. The best part about Granny, I appreciated, was that she was kind and she was balanced. You always had a sense of a give with her. That's been my experience with her. She was giving. She wasn't the type of person that she just wants to take, 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 take. She always had something good to say, something kind to say. There's some people in life that they can't even say today was a great day or today was a wonderful day. Their baseline is neutral. They just go, it was all right. Okay. They would never ever ever say, oh my god, today was fabulous, today was great. Thing with Granny, if it was bad, she'd tell you it's bad. But if it was good, she'd tell you it's good, you know? And then she might hit you with a, but you know, my knees are hurting, fee. Or I need this or I need that, you know? She was a generous spirited person. Like she gave of herself. I love old people that impart wisdom and knowledge regardless. They just give of themselves because they're at the end of their life and there's nothing for them to hoard, you know? She had a naturally generous spirit. Lastly, I'm gonna miss the good Walla gossip. You know, Granny used to sit there and watch the good Walla on the TV sometimes, and she'd tell you, well, she ain't like this person, or she don't talk to this person, or this one is your friend, and good Walla gossip. Yes, I'll keep the details between us. That is we private business. Yeah. But this video was fun. I'm glad I made it through. Ma Ruby, Surita, you have my whole heart. I know that that is one of the loves of your lives, and she's no longer with us. And we are thankful that we have experienced her. And I am thankful to you guys for embracing Jerome and I and really welcoming us into the fold as one of Granny's extras. Because she really did change our lives in a wonderful way. And there is a great hole left where her presence will remain. So that is the lessons I've learned from, those are the lessons I've learned from Gravesend Granny, Nanny Asha. I'm going to do a little video of our videos together. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.